What's up, guys? Welcome in. We got a special Thursday afternoon edition of the show. Missed yesterday, so we were going to do two-a-days. We have two shows today. This is the first one. Like I said, random Thursday brunch with Chris. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week, a fantastic day. A lot to talk about. I wish that we would have prepared for. I wish I would have known that they were going to release the EA Sports offensive rankings before we figured out the topics for this show. We'll probably get to that one later tonight. We got a show at 8 with our good buddy Chris Phillips from SEC Unfiltered. Going to talk about all of that, and of course, all the drama that just cannot seem to end with Texas and Texas A&M. So, topic for today, as you saw on the graphic there, top 5 sleaziest coaching changes. Obviously, there's been a ton of shit that's happened since the College World Series ended in Omaha. A&M not only lost the College World Series, they lost their head coach to their arch rival all within 24 hours. Pretty bad week. And if you watched anything and how it went down, listen, I'm not going to fault somebody for going to make a lot of money. I think obviously Schloss has some great, he has some great ties there and friendships and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to go better your life and make a ton of money, that's all great. But also, go do that without yelling and getting all upset and pissy in your post-game press conference. Even DeFama. In your post-game press conference, when somebody asked if you were going to be going to Texas, and then you go out of your way to just blatantly lie about it, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Aggie fans in shambles, but when are they not? So anyway, that brought to mind the top 5 sleaziest coaching changes and departures that we've seen in college sports. And there's a lot you could choose from. There's a lot. Some of the ones that didn't make the list, you think about Pete Carroll going to the NFL after the NCAA dropped the hammer on USC. Let's see. Some of the other ones, you think about, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, some of the things that happened in the SEC. Dennis Franchione, obviously the Saban thing was an issue after saying he was never going to be the head coach at Alabama. Lincoln Riley losing Bedlam and then telling Oklahoma fans and basically gaslighting that he wasn't going to leave, then using LSU to leverage a new job out at Southern Cal, which, worked out well for him. He got to go 7-5 with another Heisman winner, but instead of doing it around tornadoes, he did it around palm trees. So yeah, we still have Jimbo. Not even in the chat. This is great. Butch Davis is another one, a throwback, the guy who basically resurrected Miami, but then also got in trouble for giving away several $100,000 in Pell Grant money. And then also had one of the biggest academic scandals in the last 25 years at UNC. The only reason I have him on the list, honestly, though, is because, I don't know anything about the Pell Grant situation. I was mainly just disappointed that you resurrected the U and then you went to Cleveland. Ugh, gross. Anyway. So your top 5 sleaziest coaching changes will start with right outside the top 5. Honorable mention Steve Spurrier, specifically at South Carolina. Listen, Spurrier doesn't owe anyone any apologies. Everyone loves Spurrier. He's universally loved and respected around not just the SEC, but in college football. But this man was at South Carolina for 10 years, and quit midseason. That is a tough way to go, especially for a fan base that in large part, had their very first taste of success while he was there. You think about this, Spurrier, before he got to be the head coach at South Carolina, USC only had 7 total seasons in program history where they had 8 or more wins. 7 total in their entire program history with 8 or more wins. Only 2 were over 9 wins. Only 1 double-digit win season before he got there. It took him to 9 bowl games in 10 years. Remember, they finished in the top 10 3 straight years and they won 11 games from each year from 2011 to 2013. And then he went 2-4 in 2015 and just quit. And the end result of that was Will Muschamp somehow getting another job. Just mind-blowing. I still didn't put him in the top 5, though, because everyone loves Spurrier. So, all right, top 5. Number 5, Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher leaving FSU specifically. The way he left FSU was so bad because he destroyed that program from lack of care. He stopped coaching. He stopped recruiting halfway through the season in 2017. He flirted with every single job opportunity that came around. He was constantly fighting with the administration, with the boosters. for years and years and years. And then, when you start having the opposite of success on the field and those 10-win seasons stop coming in and you don't have Jameis Winston there anymore, yeah, I mean, you don't have a lot of leverage left. So Jimbo decides to leave to go to A&M, lied about it, pitched a fit in front of at his press conference, got so mad that somebody asked about his loyalty that he kicked out that that journalist and banned him from the office or from the building. The best part of the Jimbo thing, though, was not the pettiness. It was the fact that the way this story broke was because of a Christmas tree. The story literally broke because of a Christmas tree. But also, I still say it's one of the sleaziest things that's happened, because not only was it weird that, the tree broke the news, but also you think about after he left, that roster was decimated, just decimated. And he went, obviously, to College Station for a money grab, but the roster's decimated. Then they end up hiring Willie Taggart. And you talk about a program that hadn't had a losing season in 40 years. They had 4 straight losing seasons. What did Jimbo Fisher do if you take away? Yeah, it's a very good point, Stephen Miller. He did nothing without Jameis Winston. All right, number 4, Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino should probably be higher on this list. But he's kind of had a comeback. I mean, he's back at Arkansas, so they can't be that upset about it. But Bobby Petrino, number 4. I said this, cautiously. Which time is Bobby Petrino number 4? Because he had a sleazy exit at Arkansas, and he had a real shitty and sleazy exit as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Not a lot of people have faked a motorcycle wreck to cover up not only infidelity, but also getting their ass beat by his mistress's boyfriend. But Bobby did, and then showed up to a press conference with that neck brace on. His exit at Arkansas wasn't as bad as the one in Atlanta. He quit again mid-year. I think they were 3-13 or something like that. Ton of damages, though. And if you think about the after effects of what happened by Petrino, that program became a laughingstock for a long time. And then also they had to panic hire their next coach, which was John L. Smith, which is basically the only reason they did that. He's the least favorite boomer that was on the verge of bankruptcy. They basically gave him a 1-year job so he could avoid Chapter 7. That's not a joke. That really happened. All right, number 3, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, again, which time? Because if you're a Bama fan, Sierra's in the chat. Yeah, obviously everyone knows how he left Knoxville, and it was horrible and super shitty. And it's talked about still to this day. What we don't talk enough about is the fact that he left Alabama the week of the national championship game in 2016 before the Clemson 1 second left on the clock rub route, whatever, loss. Lane, I think, has grown up now, but the way he left Tennessee and specifically was unbelievable. It's not the fact that he left Tennessee. A lot of people will leave to go to a different job. Not a lot of people will leave to go to a different job and then cause an actual fucking riot outside of their office. And then once that riot actually happens, stay inside the building and just lay low, and then start trying to recruit your own commits to come with you and flip to your new school, all on company-owned or university-owned telephones. Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Craig Lawson's here. Craig, what are we angry about today? Yeah, that was a wild scene. Basically, Kiffin and Orgeron just holed up in this building while just absolute chaos is happening outside. Again, like I said, Kiffin's, I think, has grown up, but he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way a lot for a majority of his career up until now. So there you go. So Craig Lawson says, I genuinely thought Lane was kicked off by Saban. He absolutely was. 1,000%. You don't kick, there's no way Saban would have kicked off unless it had gotten that bad. There's no way Saban would have actually parted ways with him, except for Kiffin was an asshole, and he always was. The stories about that are still pretty wild, though. All right, number 2, I got to give it to Schloss. Maybe it's recency bias. Maybe it's something being a prisoner of the moment. This is so fucked up. The Texas A&M head coach, after losing the College World Series, leaving to go to their arch rival at Texas, it's fucked up for a number of reasons. One, and maybe most notably, we have to keep talking about it, and I know that none of us know how to properly pronounce his name. Just Coach Worcestershire, just Benedict Arnolding, A&M less than 24 hours after losing the College World Series. Keep in mind, this is a program and an athletic department that hasn't won an actual NCAA sanctioned sport since 1939. He makes an ass of himself and gets pissed off in the post-game press conference, which at this point, there's been enough of these that like somebody has to have the example of what to say when you're blatantly lying and you're going to leave anyway. But yeah, this one sucks because it feeds the rivalry and creates an even new level of toxicity between Texas and Texas A&M. These two really don't like each other. I mean, like really don't like each other. Yeah, and they left you for your arch rival after losing you the natty. I mean, Schloss, like that, you're for the streets, man. That is terrible. All right, last but not least, number one. Let me be basic. Drink out of my little Yeti here. Anyway, number one. This could have been a number of people, but I'm firm on the decision here. Tommy Tubberville, and I don't even know if it's even close, man. Then to call Zane a young reporter and think that was okay as an apology. Yeah, the apology he gave yesterday was, how do you say this? Not fucking real or genuine at all. Talking about Schloss here. Anyway, so Tommy Tubberville, number one overall, and again, this is a lot like Kiffin. It's a lot like Petrino. Which time? Like this is a no-brainer because like the question was top 5 sleaziest of all. Like, and of all these coaches, like all the coaches may be assholes. Only one of them is an asshole that became a politician, which is just oozes of sleaze. Listen, so first off, he's a repeat offender and is like shady as it gets. For a while there, it seemed like every single weird coaching coup that was trying to happen somehow involved him, whether he was like on the good side or the bad side of it. But this started in the 90s when he was at Ole Miss, when there were rumors he was going to go to Auburn. Reporters asked him right around the Egg Bowl if he was going to go, and he said, and I quote, I'm not going to Auburn. You're going to have to get me. The only way I'm leaving this place is in a pine box. 2 days later, not a pine box, an airplane. Took him out of Oxford to Auburn, where he became the head coach there. I thought that was bad enough. I didn't know about this until this morning when I was actually researching this. Did you know that Tommy Tubberville, after he went to Auburn, obviously he gets fired, then he goes to Texas Tech. He left Texas Tech in the middle of the night to go to Cincinnati. And not only did he leave Texas Tech to go to Cincinnati, he did it in the middle of a fucking recruiting visit during a dinner. He was at dinner with a recruit and their family during a recruiting visit, got up from the table. The recruit thought he was going to the bathroom and then just Irish goodbye the entire fucking program. Unbelievable. To go to Cincinnati, by the way. Anyway, yeah, so like Tommy Tubberville, listen, he's been the same his entire career and his entire life. Listen, in November, don't be shocked when he ends up flipping like right before Election Day and probably votes for Biden. I don't know. Anyway, make sure you put in the comments what your pick would be. I know there's a lot of different examples. People are upset I left Saban off. There's a lot of other examples of some good ones I'm sure I'm forgetting. Urban Meyer's probably one of them when he faked the heart attack. That's also a good one. So anyway, that was today's bonus episode. Make sure you tune in tonight at 8 o'clock. Tommy Tubberville referred to Lubbock as GD Iraq. Craig, maybe we need to have you on, and then you can just give us as much Tommy Tubberville fucking history and facts. Like his Wikipedia page, I want no part of being around him in real life. Fascinating Wikipedia page. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you tune in tonight. We'll have another show at 8 p.m. Also in some bonus news, I think I announced the other day on Twitter, but this upcoming season, I'm happy to announce that I'll be joining Locked On in addition to all the other stuff that we're already doing. But the Locked On Network and hosting the Locked On Gamecocks podcast covering South Carolina football, basketball, all things in between for the foreseeable future. So pretty excited about that, especially living in Columbia. So make sure you go tune into that as well. Other than that, guys, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you tonight at 8.